Hey, Ceaira,
What's up?
what is a Jawa's favorite type of pasta noodle?
What is a Jawa's favorite type of pasta noodle?
Rotini! Oh, come on,
Okay,
you.
no, that actually was kind of funny.
Hey, everyone, welcome back to another interview-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah,
I'm Drew.
And I'm Ceaira.
and we are back with Imperial interviews, and this time we have Ceaira from Star Wars Old Republic Radio, and if you remember, Isabella, her sister, right? Your sister?
Yes.
Was on a few months ago, and so now we have Ceaira on, and then hopefully we'll have the third host, Ruby, at some point. So that would be exciting. But until then, we have Ceaira. So say hi, Ceaira.
Hi. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yep. So we're excited, and it's going to be our normal, format of like top twos and Star Wars stories and hot takes. Hopefully, we can get one out of her, and then some movie rankings, like always. So it's a lot of fun, and then voicemails as normal. But we have a couple announcements, and so I mentioned this last week, but the final High Republic book has come out, and we will be doing a book review next month. So get excited for that and read it if you have not yet or haven't gotten it yet. Get it and stuff that because it's a great story, and we're excited to get the final.
Did you start it
book.
already?
I have not started it,
Okay.
but it's a little bit longer one, so we gotta
Yeah, I
pace
haven't-
ourselves correctly.
Forgot.
But also a very big Star Wars news announcement today, kind of. Star Wars officially released a map of the Star Wars galaxy.
Yes.
So now we know exactly where every planet is in the galaxy on a map, and we never had that before officially. And so it's super cool. And so you can go to StarWars.com, they have it there, and then they have it's kind of lame, they have like a PDF that you can like look for the planets and then like go to the grid on the map. They should just have it, type in the planet name, and it like pops up on the map, but whatever.
It would have been sweet if they would have partnered with like Google Maps or something, so then you can actually just look it up.
Do Street View.
Yeah, that would have been dope.
That would have been so much cooler. Big question, is Camino on the map?
I'm sure it is. Every planet's on there that's been canonized, so
Not removed from the archives?
Ooh, that's
Oh, wait,
true.
actually, that's a good point.
That's a good point.
But it should be because it's been
Chat,
added
help
back
us
on.
out. Let us see if it's
Yeah,
on
Etsy,
there.
you're our fact checker. Go on Star Wars. Click the link I posted in
I
the
didn't even
Discord.
think about that. That's a good
Find
point.
Camino. It should be on there. But
Let us know.
I was just looking around that map, and I was really thought like some of the stuff was kind of cool, but like where stuff actually was, because I was like, I don't know where this is. And I was
Is
like,
it similar to what we thought? Did they like take what the non-canon version of the map?
I don't know.
or
There's
they kinda
probably
just redid it?
similarities, but there's so many planets on there.
Mhm.
Like 90% of them. Like I don't even know because there's probably just mentioned in passing or something. But it's super cool. So, but that's all we have for Star Wars news. So we can just jump into it. And so, as always, the first question that we have for Ceaira is, what is your Star Wars story? So how did you become a Star Wars fan? Go.
So I know y'all had Bella on, and
Yep.
obviously we're sisters. Our stories are very similar. However, there is one slight mix-up. She's probably right. Probably. But so our dad had introduced us to Star Wars, and he was like, I remember watching these movies, let's watch them. She remembers us coming home from one of our extracurricular activities. I remember us being at Disneyland all day because I thought that like I had seen all the Star Wars things and been so excited because I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch that tonight. It doesn't really matter. She's probably right. But yeah.
Fact check with your dad. What does he remember?
I don't know. But yeah, something we do remember is coming into the house and the music is blasting. Like just opening the door and like, because the menu had the music, because there used to be menus on DVDs. So it was so cool. And so I remember watching it And because I had heard all about Star Wars and like I'd seen it and just not known what it was about. And so
How old were you when this was going on?
I think I was 9.
Okay.
9 or 10. So yeah, I was a good age for me to watch Star Wars. And I remember watching it and being into it, and then it was actually the part right after the Sandcrawler came to Luke's house. And he's how Baru is calling him, and so he's running back, and you just kind of hear the theme playing like lightly. I remember
Mhm.
at that moment taking a second and being like, I'm watching Star Wars. This is the coolest thing ever. So like there was so much anticipation like leading up to it because I'm like, this is Star Wars. I'm so excited, and it met all expectations, man. It was so cool. So
And then it just snowballed after that.
so actually, we watched all the movies, and we had done like every week we're gonna watch one of the movies, and we hadn't watched the Clone Wars until 2020, actually.
Oh wow, yeah.
So the new season or the last season came out, and all of our friends were going crazy over it, and me and Belle were just kind of like, okay. We had a good friend that watched the Clone Wars and was a big fan, and I think she's the one that really pressured us to watch it. And so then me and Bella basically binged it. Like every spare minute we could, we were watching the Clone Wars just on a computer, just watching it on Disney Plus. And it was so much fun because we were just binging it, and that was all we wanted to do was just watch it in our free time. And it was so good. And so after the Clone Wars, that's really when we became really big Star Wars fans and got all into it.
Exciting.
Sweet.
Anything else?
No, not really.
All right, cool. All right, Drew, what is the first top two?
All right. So, what is your top 2 starships?
Starships,
so
not
start with your number 2.
relationships.
You're right.
Yeah,
Start with number 2
not
and go to
ships.
your number 1.
You used to have it ships.
Yeah.
And then
And it
people
confused
like start
people.
answering with their favorite relationships. And we're like, no. So we had to like change the wording.
Yeah. So the second one would be Slave One. I
Okay.
like
Solid.
it. It's classic. It's very unique.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got stinking seismic charges. Like that's fire.
Yep.
But it's so cool. So I love Slave One. And then number 1 is the Razor Crest.
Wow.
R.I.P.
Rip.
I know. Oh man, that was a sad day. But
Did you cry?
I didn't. I was in the middle of an airport. So
Where were you going? You probably remember
actually,
exactly.
we were house hunting kind of in Texas, and we were going back home to California. So me and Belle,
Interesting.
so me and Belle were in the airport because the new episode just dropped. So, yep, that was a sad day.
Did you yell in the airport and everyone looked and like?
No, I should have though. Someone would have understood. But yeah, Slave One. It's so stinging cool. I love that it has just the reputation of having not a good not a good reputation, but just kind of being
Junk.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And like just it's underestimated and it always pulls through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, we just started doing the Bounty Hunter comics, and that was last week's episode with Grace, and it ends with like one of the characters like they got intel on Boba Fett's location because this Slave One was spotted at a landing port or whatever, and so it's like people know the ship, they know where Boba Fett is, so definitely
It's
iconic.
not very, very hidden type of ship.
Yep. All right, cool. Well, next up, top 2 lightsabers.
And I can't have 3.
You can have
Like,
an honorable mention.
we can't stop you if you say
Okay.
3,
Yeah.
but
No, I can limit it to 2. No, I can't. Never mind. So the 2. The second one would probably be Leia. I really like Leia's saber.
Okay.
It was always my favorite. Again, orange. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was like a coppery color. It was just really, it was classy. It was pretty. And then top 1 would be Darksaber.
Oh, dang. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Now, why do you have Darksaber as number 1? Like, what's your reasoning?
Well, first of all, it's so cool. And then just
That's true.
I like that it is so unique and there's so much story connected to it. It's like a Mandalorian saber and just yeah, there's a lot connected to it.
So how did you feel when it got destroyed?
It's another sad day.
Were you in an airport again? And
I
you
was
couldn't-
not. I actually yeah, no. But yeah, again, it's very sleek, it's very clean, and it's very iconic. Like it's very distinguishable. So
Right. Do you want to mention your third one that you wanted to say just to get it out of there?
Jod.
Jod's,
Jod's
really?
lightsaber. It's
Wow.
again, it's just classic, it's clean. I like it.
Okay. Cool. All right, Drew, what's up next?
Your top 2 droids.
Second would be K2SO.
Ooh.
Okay.
He's just funny. I
He's the
love
best.
I love comedy. Just if it's funny, I like it. And so that's K2SO.
He's my number 1 droid.
Well, seeing him in season 2 of Andor is not so funny, so
Yeah.
you should watch that as soon as you can because you get to see him in a different light. So,
Oh boy, yeah.
so that's your number 2. Your number 1.
Number 1 is R2D2. Classic.
R2D2 classic.
Oh, clean
Mhm.
classic.
And why do you love R2 so much?
Again, he's funny. And like he's got a little toot to him sometimes. Not as much as Chopper, but and he's loyal, he knows everything and doesn't tell anyone.
True.
And like he's always
he
I
literally
don't know.
knows everything.
He knows
He's your ride
everything.
or die when you need him to be.
Mm-hmm. And he's very loyal. Same with K2SO. So that's why I like both of them. But yeah, he's classic. He's very helpful. Or
Cool.
or not helpful.
Right, depending on who's asking him to do something.
Exactly.
All right, cool. All right, next up, top 2 creatures in Star Wars.
Second favorite would be Atuka. Just
Cat.
Ooh.
mhm.
Well, everyone calls them loth cats, but like technically Tuca is the correct
Yeah. I mean,
terminology.
I would if I like Tuca Loth Cat would be my favorite.
The subcategory is your favorite? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the wolves are pretty cool, but I gotta like the cat. And then number 1 is Mythosaur.
Oh, dang.
Oh.
We get like 5 seconds of it. So that's pretty cool that he's your number. I should say it's your number 1. We don't know if it's he or she or it or what, but
Yeah.
what do you have to say about the Mythosaur?
I'm hoping to see more. That's one thing. But it just seems really regal. That's just something that pops in my head. So I like it a lot. And again, I'm hoping to see more.
Yeah, my big theory that was going to happen in either season 3 of Mandalorian or further down the storyline was that Din Djarin was going to be holding the Darksaber while riding a Mythosaur, and he would reunite all the Mandalorians through the galaxy.
Yeah.
And now we're not going to get that.
Man, that would be so cool. But they just see a Mythosaur and they're like, okay, yeah, let's follow him. I would.
Yep. So we'll see. But I think, we could still get him riding a Mythosaur in the future because we see the Mythosaur in the series. So it's alive and well. So who knows what they're going to do.
That was stinking cool, man.
But I feel like whatever character design they have is gonna split the fandom. Like people are, that looks stupid, or oh, that looks awesome. Like what they decide with. So
yeah,
maybe that alone, we'll just leave the head, and that was all we were gonna show because they don't want to enrage people because it's easy to do that in Star Wars. All right, Drew, what's up next?
Your top 2 music themes / tracks.
Yeah. So I love scores.
Ooh.
They're so amazing. But oh man, I didn't put these in an order. Okay, but I have one. Okay. Second would be I Am Ready from the Bad Batch. So that was the last one that played, and it was the end of the series and the end credits to that.
Okay.
and it's just
Cool.
it's
And now I gotta
so
go back
good.
and listen to that to
I
get a
know.
Definitely
refresher.
do. It's a short listen. I know sometimes scores can be like a year and a day, but it's a
Yeah.
short listen, a little over like 2.5 minutes, I think. But it's so good and it's very impactful. Like it gets me every time. Like the ending of the show part, it feels very classic and like very original. It's just got the full like symphony build, and then the end credits just this simple piano. I remember hearing that the first time, and it just feels like it feels very complete and like a story has been told and it's completed, and it just gives you a different feeling. It's really great. And then the sacrifice is woven into it as well, which again, it's just so good. So I love that one. I love legacy scores is what I call them, when they take something so familiar and they weave it and change it a bit and sometimes give it a different feel in something else. So they did that with the sacrifice in that one. They took it and they changed the feel of it to make it like less tragic and more like peaceful and more like closure. And so that's what they did. And something else is that actually stuck out to me as a kid was Darth Vader's death. They take the Imperial March and they just pump it all the way up to like super high notes. And that's something I noticed the first time watching it as a kid. And I just thought it was so cool the way they took it and changed it and just made it so light, when before it was all like brass heavy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that one, you can't find it in the actual albums. It's in the Star Wars trilogy, John Williams and the Utah Symphony Orchestra. So that one's pretty cool.
Oh.
So there's actually a few scores in there that they're not in the actual albums. But yeah,
Right.
I was so excited when I found that though. So
Right. But if you liked it, how they, they tweak themes or whatever, make them feel different. Are you familiar with the 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 parade music from episode 1?
Mhm.
So how that is actually Emperor Palpatine's theme, but done in a fun, jovial thing. So if you go back and compare the
I can
melodies, it's
hear
the
it.
same exact melody.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was not a
It's
celebration and win for Naboo. It was a win
so
and celebration for the Emperor, the future
yeah.
Emperor.
That is
It's
crazy. I never noticed that.
telling.
Go listen to it after the
I
podcast,
I
and
can
your mind will be
already hear
blown.
it. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's like one of my favorite Star Wars music, like Easter eggs.
That's
That
amazing.
it was a win for Palpatine, not for Naboo.
You know something else? Somebody once slowed down Rey's theme, and it was very similar to Emperor Palpatine's theme.
Is it?
Hmm. Just a little bit. It's
I
almost
could kind of see that a little bit.
reminiscent of it.
Yeah.
Almost like a granddaughter of.
You'd think.
All right, cool. All right, well, and that was your number 2, right? So
Yeah. So
number
number
one?
one is The Princess Appears, aka the Force theme or Tatooine Sunset, but it's
Oh.
actually called The Princess Appears. And another very funny story. I've always loved that score, that whole. Look it up, you'll know it.
You
But
don't want to sing it for us?
I was about to, but no, I'm not. But just the Force theme, the classic Tatooine Sunset, just that full cinematic build. It's so good, and it's so iconic, and it wasn't in the album. And I'm like, why the heck isn't this in the album? Like officially, like you go and you search it, like Tatooine Sunset or something in Apple Music, and a bunch pop up, but it's not the real one. And so I was watching the movie, and that always bothered me that I couldn't listen to the real thing. So I was watching the movie once just with my cousins. And while we were watching it, I just Shazammed it just to see what would happen. And it popped up and it was The Princess Appears. And I was like, I don't think that's right. So I just threw it in my album and I forgot about it until I was in the car with my mom listening to my scores playlist on the car. And that song is playing, of course, iconic theme. Everyone knows it. Like you hear it and it's just Star Wars. And I didn't. So as soon as it starts playing, I get like, my mom's sitting right there and I'm just like, I didn't know this was in Star Wars. And she looks at me, mind you, my mom, she's watched Star Wars, but she's not
Yeah.
she's not nerdy like me. So she just gave me a face like, what do you mean you didn't know this was in Star Wars? She's like, if I know it. And so immediately I was like, no, like it wasn't in the album and this and that. But no, it's called The Princess Appears. And I'm like, why is this not common knowledge?
Yeah, that is
But
not
yeah.
common. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that, like, the album releases of the original scores for the original trilogy are different than, there's like different ones, there's different releases, and it's kind of like weird.
Because isn't there a score called Two Sunsets?
Well, there's the binary sunset is the main,
Or the
like,
binary sunset?
you know, what we call the Force theme is kind of like that
Yeah.
main
AKA
thing.
The Princess Appears.
But
Why would it be called that?
There's more to it than just that part. So
I guess, like, is part of it also playing when they find Leia? Like when Han
I
finds
think
Leia?
I don't know.
it's weird because I think some of, like, there's like just shorter little pieces that were for certain scenes that weren't like full like tracks, and so like some of those little short ones are not in like older releases and stuff. So
Do you remember, did I tell you Miles's version of that song?
no.
Oh, I thought I brought it up. Maybe this is a newer. I'll tell you. I'm not going to distract. I'm not going to change the subject.
I'm curious.
It's so stupid.
What to say? What?
He's like, the other day we were in the car and he's like, poop, 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 poop. And I was like, Miles. So like he sings it. I'm like, why do you sing it like that?
Because
He's
he's a 3-year-old boy. That's
That's
why.
classic.
I was like, why not pee? He's like, poop is better. And I was like, bro,
What?
he's a 3-year-old.
That's,
All right.
Crazy
that's
kid.
amazing.
All right, cool. All right, next up, top 2 funny moments in Star Wars. You know, it's a sci-fi. There's a lot of drama. You can cry a lot in Star Wars, but it can also make you laugh out loud. So,
Yes. So, second one is actually the same as one of Bella's because we were both there. So, and it's not in itself that funny.
It's the one that you guys always quote.
No.
I don't remember what hers were.
I
so.
remember. Yeah, I don't either, but I feel like
It's
do
not
once she
quotable,
said
but it's just in the Malevolence arc of the Clone Wars when like Obi-Wan and Anakin and Padme and 3PO and R2 are like all running around the ship. There's a part where 3PO is on a train, like he got hit by a train and it was like pushing him, and then all of a sudden the train stops, but he keeps going and he like hits the wall. For some reason, that struck me and Bella as funny, like, and we were dying. We were watching it over and over and over again, and I think it was the sound it made. We were losing our minds. It was so funny. And so now that part, again, it's not that funny, but sometimes it just hits you different. So that one will forever be one of my favorites, and we still crack up every time we bring it up. It's so funny. But
Cool.
So that's number 2. And then number 1 is in Rebels when Ezra was captured and Rex and Kanan go to save him, but Ezra stuns them. And then but then they come to, and Ezra's like, oh, you missed it. There were stormtroopers and they hit you. And then Chopper pulls up the hologram of Ezra shooting him. And it's just playing over and over. I just watched that the other day and I was laughing so hard. That part, I think, is my favorite.
Funny.
Chopper, little rat.
Exactly.
All right, fun. Drew, what's up next?
All right, your top 2 quotes.
Number 2 would be Pelly in The Mandalorian. When Mando,
Mechanic.
yes, when Mando comes up with the Boba Fett armor after defeating the
Crate Dragon.
Crate Dragon, thank you. And Pelly just says, "You finally found a Mandalorian and you killed him."
Oh yeah,
I love that so much. Again, we were just watching that the other day. So that's number 2. Number 1 would be Paz in the cave when he says, "Because we are Mandalorian." When he's asking, "Why would we help him? Why would we do this? Because we are Mandalorian." I love that part. The first time I watched Mando season 3, wasn't a huge fan. I didn't hate it, but I was just like, it's okay. The second time I watched it, I was like, this is fantastic. I was just I loved it. And especially Paz. And I actually had a chance to meet Tate Fletcher last year. And I was able to tell him like how much I loved Paz and how much I loved that part. And I was a volunteer at Rebel ScumCon, and that's where I met him. And we were able to get our shirts signed. And we just got their signatures. We didn't get any quotes or anything, but Tate actually put on my shirt "Because we are Mandalorians," because we talked about that. It was so cool. He was so nice.
That's pretty dope.
That's one of my favorite parts.
I feel like I would not be able to wear that shirt ever.
I have not worn it since.
Yeah, I would frame that.
Yeah, have it framed.
Yeah,
on your wall.
Yeah, for real. But I love that shirt. It's got so many signatures on it.
That's
so
sweet.
I think like
cool.
40 or something like that.
Jeez. From all Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
people?
Was this a plain white
Oh,
tee
you
or
have
something?
to.
It was a volunteer shirt. It was lime green.
Yeah, you definitely have to frame that thing.
Yeah. I got who else? Ahmed Best is on there. A couple of the Mando stunt doubles, Barry Lowen, Chris Bartlett, 3PO, Carrie Jones. All kinds of Star Wars people. It's sick. I love that shirt.
Where was that con at?
That was here in Texas. It was in Allen, but this year it's going to be in Frisco. We're volunteering this year too. So they got all kinds of. Tate Fletcher's going to be there again. Katie Sackhoff.
Ooh.
So many more that I can't remember right now, but it's an all Star Wars con. It's so sick.
That's exciting.
Oh.
Look forward to your posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because you just went to
Fan Expo
in Dallas, and that was it was fun watching you guys your shenanigans.
Oh yeah, lots of fun at those.
All right, cool. Well, we are about halfway through, so we will just jump into our sponsor for today, which is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if you're going around to cons and meeting famous people and getting signatures, you need some little pep in your step, you need a little caffeine. What better way than to get some caffeine from Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea? So take a listen.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right, cool. All right, now we're getting to some juicy categories, the big categories. Next up, top 2 characters in all of Star Wars. There's a lot to choose from. Who do you got, Ceaira?
Second favorite is Rex.
Okay, cool.
Love Rex.
Why do you like Rex so much? He's just a clone. There's millions of them. What makes him better than all the other clones?
I'm done. This has been a great interview. No, he again loyal. He's very loyal. He's funny, and yeah, he's just. I think his loyalty is what stands out the most. He just stands by you no matter what. He trusts you, and you can trust him. So, yeah, he's my favorite. Second favorite.
Right.
This actually is a very close tie. And
Right.
they actually might be tied, but top one is Luke.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Ooh.
He's just, yeah.
He's just Luke.
Yeah, that's it. Enough said. But he's, I'm trying to think of the word. Yeah, the word's gone. But just, he never gave up on Vader, on his father, and he just kept going. He's like, I know there's good in you. And that, I love that about Luke. And like by the end of it, he's just such a cool Jedi. Also, he has a green lightsaber, and that's my favorite. And yeah, I think it's just the fact that he went from being this kid just like flying around airplanes to just being, his character development's amazing. Like just going from this kid to just being this amazing Jedi, that in the end saved his father, and that's just so cool.
Exciting. Drew, this is when you can do your joke. Everyone,
What?
time we have a guest on, you tell your joke because Luke's her favorite, so you can tell your joke. So go ahead, Drew.
Oh. Well, now you kind of gave it away.
Unless you heard Isabella's interview, then you probably know they're kicking.
I did hear it, and I can't remember the joke, but I remember laughing at it.
So
Okay.
Drew, tell the joke.
What's the temperature inside a tauntaun?
What?
Lukewarm.
That's right. That's right. I was driving actually, and I was laughing at that.
That's a good one.
Funny. All right.
No one like guessed that either.
Well, most jokes are like that, unless you've heard it. Like,
Well,
it is
true.
what it is.
I didn't guess it either. In my defense.
All right. So those are your top two characters. Next up, Drew, what's up?
Your top 2 moments.
Ooh.
Okay, so this one's kind of cheating because I already said it, but it's because we are Mandalorian.
Okay.
Again, that's just one of my favorite moments in the show. Again, I guess loyalty is just the theme.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're very loyal. You want to make sure people are loyal.
And if you're not, watch out. No, but
Bye bye.
But yeah, I love that so much. It's very powerful. So
Yeah.
and then first one is the end of Return of the Jedi. It's just full circle story, and it's just good guys won, and it's just very, I love it.
Like the celebration at the end you're referring to?
The celebration, and then also like right before that when Luke is burning Vader as well.
Cremating.
That word did not come into my mind, but yes, cremating.
That's probably the right one.
But, yeah, you're right.
His dad's on fire. That's my favorite moment.
Yeah, just kind of especially just burning the
When
suit.
the Ewoks are eating all the just.
Yeah. See, I love Ewoks. Ewoks are my thing. So,
So do you have a preference for the alternate song at the end, though? 'Cause you know there's the 2 versions.
yeah.
Do you have a preference?
Honestly, I love them equally. Because the first time I watched Return of the Jedi was with the new song. And it's just, again, it just gives that whole, it's very different. The new one is, I mean, the original one is too. But the new, it's very different, and it just gives that sense of closure and like a story completed. At least this story completed. And I really like the new one, but the old one, yes, I do love Yup Nub.
Oh, he has a button.
There it is.
It's the best one.
It's
By far.
And we just got demonetized for that. Thanks.
No, that was like 4 seconds.
that song is 100% in my playlist.
Fun. All right. Cool.
Because you know they're happy, they're full, they just ate a bunch of stormtroopers. Like,
Yep.
I love Ewoks.
yeah, they're pretty dope.
All right. So next up, on the opposite end of the spectrum, your top 2 least favorite moments.
Oh, here we go.
Or some people refer like what 2 scenes or moments that you hate in Star Wars. What did you go with?
Number 2. This one was kind of hard for me. I had one for sure, but my second least favorite, because honestly, there's not a lot that I don't like in Star Wars. That's not true, but a lot of favorite moments that I like, specific moments that stand out. But honestly, it's every time there's a creature fight in the Bad Batch, I'm like, it's
You're just checked out.
it's my least favorite part. I don't know. There's always a creature fight in like every episode. It's
Wasn't the pod racing episode in season 2, episode 4?
We hated that episode
That was the worst.
when they're just racing.
no, that one was funny.
What?
And
They didn't do anything.
That was like the most worthless animated episode in all of Star
it
Wars
was
animation.
funny. That's why I liked it. Also, yeah, it was.
I don't remember.
It was
laughing
entertaining.
at all. Probably because I was so just like, "What are we doing?"
I mean,
here?
it was entertaining. I liked it.
Okay. But anyway, back to creature fights. You don't
Maybe
like
maybe
creature
that's
fights.
my hot take.
Do you like episode 4 of season 2 of Bad Batch?
I do.
That's your hot take.
I do. Some foreshadowing in there, but in that episode. But yeah, no. So creature fights in the Bad Batch. Yeah. Anyway, and then number 1 is in the end of Force Awakens. Nope, the beginning. Not the beginning. I don't know. Sometime in The Last Jedi when Rey hands Luke the lightsaber and he just chucks it.
Oh,
That's what we
100%.
always say. I think that was my number 1. Drew, is that your number 1 too?
It was either that or the kiss. One of those two.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
that-
the Luke throwing a saber was my number 1.
It's
That's my
just,
number
the
one.
most wasteful. It doesn't make. It's just dumb.
Because okay, well, say you explain yours and then we'll say our
Yeah,
Well,
perspective.
that's all. It's just Luke goes from being this powerful Jedi that never gives up on anybody to being a hermit. And I'm not
Not
afraid
even a
to-
good hermit though.
Yeah. Like he was no Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
I will say I'm not a fan of the sequels, and I will say
Ooh, I like it.
that is
Hi.
my number 1 reason why is Luke's character.
Ooh. Oh, that's. I mean, I feel like you're not that far off.
Yeah.
I feel like that's most people's. reasoning.
That's my biggest disappointment in those movies is
Just his
what they
character
did with Luke.
change.
hmm
I think that's
It's-
most people's
Yeah.
gripes.
Yeah.
And so for me, I had no problem with him being in exile and being depressed. I'm fine with that. But with the saber thing, what they could have done that would have, sold his exile to the fans would have been if he hovered the saber in front of him and then dismantled it by using the force and had the parts fall and hit the ground. It would have been the same thing, but done in a more emotional manner rather than just nonchalantly, who cares, and then it stomps off.
Or what they
Like-
could have done and be like, it would have done the same stupidity, but it would have been funny. Is if he would have been like, "Did you find a hand with this?" And that would have been hilarious, and it would have been like, "Oh, this is stupid," but it would have at least been funny. It was just
So-
Yeah.
depressing when he threw it over his shoulder.
Yeah. It makes me
So-
sad.
And then the milk scene, shortly after that, was just too much. A couple weeks ago, we did our top 5 moments we would change that didn't really impact the story, and we weren't allowed to use that one.
The milk one?
But no, the
Oh.
lightsaber
Oh,
one,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
that was the example they gave us, and they said we couldn't use that one. But that would have definitely been both of our lists. But then I said the milk one because I'm like,
Yeah.
they didn't. We could have just saw him drinking green milk. We didn't need to see how he got it. There's no need for that at all. And all of mine was episode 8.
Yeah, episode
Right.
8 is Drew's least favorite moment in all of Star Wars. The whole movie.
Yeah, the whole movie from top to bottom. I think Jeremiah pointed out the best way to fix episode 8 would have been just to have Admiral Akbar do the Haldo remover instead of Haldo. If his character would have been the one who did it all, it would actually fix the entire movie because you would have had a connection to the character instead of some random person that we did not care about or knew. But if we would have we could have fully trusted him as a character that he was planning something, And then he
Yeah.
could have said it's a trap, and then
Yeah,
like
he gets
did
on the
it.
comms with the ship, and then like, what are you doing? It's a trap. And then he does the
And then
Hulk
he
maneuver,
like
and then
imagine that version would have been so much better. Like,
Yeah.
he just gets shot and blown into space, and then
and we did, and
That
they
don't
was-
see
just
a
tell
body,
us
no
he
funeral.
dies.
Like
Yeah.
it's just
That is a little bit more beef I have with that movie.
let the
She
hate
should've-
flow through you, Ceaira. You don't need to.
Yeah,
you don't need
have
to
to hide.
hold back.
Don't hold back. She should
All
have
right.
stayed in Jurassic Park.
All right. So those are your top 2 least favorite moments. Drew, what's up next?
What's your top 2 deaths? Now this one always messes with me. Is it like
It's-
the
it
top
can
2
be-
deaths you like, or
Like
is it
if
the top
happy
2
someone
deaths?
died, or top 2 like
Right.
because it's most meaningful. Like it can be for any reason.
I did one of each.
Okay.
Oh,
So my first one, second, is Saw Gerrera.
Oh, dang.
I'm so happy he died, man.
You're happy he died?
This dude needed to go.
You didn't like him?
brutal.
No.
Wow, I think he is a great character, but why don't you like his character?
He's very reckless. Doesn't think through things. Just
Kind of like Anakin Skywalker.
he's kind of reckless and doesn't really. But
Just like passed over that completely.
but yeah, and he's almost seems selfish. Just like I'm just talking and blowing things up just to, I don't know. Not a fan. Also, then when his actions caused Tech's death, that was it, man. Because before I didn't like him. Wasn't my favorite. I tolerated him. Wasn't really a fan. After that, dude needed to die. And at that point he already had, so that was okay. So
Interesting.
but yeah.
I've always liked his character just because it's such like a unique story and how someone responds to the trauma of oppression. Like I don't know. I just like it. He's like on the extreme of one end, and then he has some really good stuff in season 2 of Andor that might make you like him a little bit better. Like
Maybe.
you might understand his character a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I like Forrest Whitaker's portrayal of him. He's great.
yeah, I understand your point, and that is a good point. I'm more just bitter at him for Tech.
Oh, I think a lot of people are, because he screwed up their mission, and that's what led to everything going downhill. So
Yeah. And then number 1 would be Fives.
oh,
Ooh.
R.I.P. Fives.
That's a good
Heartbreaking.
one.
It's very intense and very emotional, and just, yeah, it's crazy. I think when Fives died is the only time I cried in the Clone Wars. So I think maybe I got a little teary at the end, but that was the only time that one hit me, because Fives is like one of my favorites. Like when I think of like favorite clones, Rex and Fives are like right on top. So yeah, very impactful, and just the fact that the Palpatine is just so horrible. Yeah.
All right,
Just-
cool.
It's a good one.
All right, well, now we're at the category you didn't have an answer to, your Star Wars hot take. Now, you did say you used to have a hot take, but then you changed your
Yes.
opinion on it. So if you want to use that, it'd still be a fun discussion point if you want. Unless you came up with something that you want to have as your hot take. But
Not really. Everything I could think of that, like, yeah, there's always people that agree with me. I mean, there's people that disagree, but then there's always people that do agree. So,
Try us. No, I'm just kidding.
but no, my old one is I used to not like Kanan. And not only did I not like
Oh.
Kanan, I really did
Oh.
not like Kanan.
That
dang.
is a very hot. That's like the hottest
How-
thing of all time.
Mhm.
So what caused the change, and how long ago was that change?
So, well, first, I'll tell you why I didn't like him. Well, first of all, I didn't really like Rebels in general. I watched
Oh,
it.
that's a hot take.
Yeah. Again, reformed. But
New
but
person.
I was a different person but yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of Rebels, but just watching Kanan, I'm like, he's like the worst master ever. And yeah, I just wasn't a fan. I didn't watch Rebels all the way through. But I did know that he died at the end. So every time I'm like, man, I just wish he'd die already. But so that it was very intense. Part of me went with
That
it.
is so intense.
Part of me went with it because there was a friend of mine. It drove her nuts whenever I'd say it, so I kept saying it.
One of
But
those.
yeah.
We've all had one of those.
So, but no, after watching more, I'm like, actually, Kanan's the best. Again, I like funny things, and Kanan is so funny. But then, yeah, the more I rewatch it, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So by the time you got to watching his death scene, were you already on board, or was it more reflection after that?
No, it was after that.
So did you see that scene, his death scene, before you got to it in the show?
No. I can't remember how it got spoiled for me, but I did know.
Okay.
But I saw the scene and it was horrible because I was watching it with Bella. She'd already seen it at that point, and he's like flames and everything, and I'm like, bye. So
Oh, heck
it
no.
was
Oh, dude.
Chill.
it was horrible. But now
I'm so glad that's not your hot take because that would have been rough.
yeah, the thing is, I didn't have much, like, nothing to support my opinion. It was just, I didn't like him. But now, he's fantastic. And I like Rebels. I love Rebels. I love Kanan.
I think that Kanan's death is in my top 5 moments in all of Star Wars. And at one point, I think it was my number 2 moment in all of Star Wars, and then other content came out and it dropped a little bit. But that's such a sad, emotional scene. And I remember watching it the first time, and I'm like, "This is a kid show." Like,
It's intense.
It's a crazy scene. But you did have a Star Wars hot take, maybe, that you said you could share if you wanted to, about someone you like.
Oh yeah,
If you want to.
I love Star Wars Theory.
The YouTuber.
No,
Which
he's a Star Wars fan, and gives his honest opinion. And after talking to him, yeah, he's great.
He has a lot of hot takes.
Yep. But you might as well plug what just happened if you want, because it's already public.
Yeah, Star Wars Old Republic Radio was able to talk to Star Wars Theory, and it was so much fun. We had a blast. It was a great talk. Again, he's a Star Wars fan, and I like unpopular opinions, which is funny that I don't have any, but it's just in little things. Like, if everyone likes this, I usually like this.
Yeah, you seem like that kind of person. Like,
yeah.
And I should mention, when you say you talked to him, it was actually you had him on an episode of your podcast that you recorded.
Yeah.
So
so that will be released soon. I'm not quite sure when, but yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm excited to watch it because he's the biggest name in like Star Wars, like YouTube stuff and social media stuff. So like, that's a big deal that you guys got to have him on your podcast. And so if you guys, anyone who's listening wants to go listen to that, go check out and follow Star Wars Old Republic Radio, and it should be up soon. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we had a blast. It was so much fun.
Cool. All right, Drew, what's up next?
Rank. So you only got 2 more questions left. So rank the trilogies.
That would be OGs, prequels, and sequels. That's going from best to least favorite.
Yep. That's usually
so
how it
OGs
goes.
your favorite?
OGs are my favorite.
Respect.
Fun.
As they should be.
I like the classics.
And how do you... So I guess everyone knows why sequels on the bottom. That's usually how it goes.
We've had a lot of people, though, that we've interviewed.
Well, we've had 2. I think Lucy, and then was it Maria?
I think Maria does like
she had that as number
Maria.
1. Oh yeah, her art in the back. But I always like to ask, like, why? Because people have the original, and the prequel is kind of like those go back and forth. Why do you like the original trilogy more than the prequel trilogy?
It's a great question. I like the classics. I love that I was just actually talking about this yesterday, but it's a simple story. that like younger kids can understand good versus evil, but then there's also so many layers to it that if you keep digging, it's very, very good. And all of Star Wars is like that. Even the prequels are like that. Like I watched it, I did not understand most of what was going on, but I understand that the good guys good guys lost in the prequels. But yeah, it's just such a good story. Just it's simple, but then there's layers. So, and yeah, the originals. I'm a nostalgic person, and I like the classics, and so I think that one they're just my favorite.
All right.
When you guys watched them, did you watch like from episode 1 first or 4, 5, 6?
Yeah, we did release order, which is always that's always what I recommend for people.
I just tell people to do chronological. I don't know. I just because I feel like the original.
I'm kidding.
Like to do like the original trilogy first. I feel like it's to
You like
have the Vader father reveal. I feel like that's like the main reason people do that a lot of times. They want to get the reaction because like if you do it start with episode 1, then you know you find out who Anakin becomes, and it's not a big reveal. So, there's
like ways to do it too. Like they're like watch episode 1, and then I don't know. There's like ways to
there's
skip
way
around.
to do is do episode 4, then 1, 2, then do 5, and then do 3.
Yeah,
because you get by doing it that way you learn about Darth Vader, then you learn about this Darth Vader, he killed this Anakin guy, so you learn about Anakin for 2 movies. Like, oh cool, Anakin's cool, blah blah blah, and then you find out Anakin was Vader, and then you go see how he turned to the dark side, and then you finish with 6. You get his redemption. But
I would say watch release order 4, 5, 6, watch 1, 2, 3, and then watch 4, 5, 6 again. That's what I would say.
I like that order. That's a good one.
but now
and then proceed to go back and forth.
But I feel like if you want to do like original trilogy stuff first, I would say do Andor seasons 1 and 2, then Rogue One, and then do the original trilogy, because it's all one seamless story.
If you really want to go there, you got to go watch episode 1, 2, then the Clone Wars show.
Well, yeah, chronological. That's how I tell people to do it.
Oh, that's so much work.
I don't know. I made a Google Doc of all the Star Wars shows and movies in chronological order, and so I always send it to people. Here, this is the order. This is where everything is.
Do you have
because the Clone Wars is still wrong?
Huh?
The Clone Wars isn't in
They have the list on the website.
So no, I know, but I'm saying even on Disney Plus, it's still like the original release day order,
which cracks me up.
Swap it up. Because I remember you gave me that list when I watched it for the first time, and that was so much better.
All right, but it mostly doesn't matter. It's just like a few things contradict each other if you do it in release order for the show. But
then you get like a random C-3PO and R2 episode that does not fit at all, and then it just
the void arcs.
Yeah,
but there's a million ways. Just as long as people watch Star Wars, that's all that matters. So
exactly. But yeah, I'm a big fan of seeing something and then getting the history behind it. I don't know why. It's how I roll. I like it.
Cool. All right. So that brings us to the final category. And then your interview is done. But there's 11 films out, and the big thing in Star Wars fans is how do you rank the movies? How do you rank the films? And so there's 11 of them, not including
the Clone Wars
movie.
I noticed that.
But whatever. But how would you rank it? So start at your bottom. Number 11 is work your way up. You don't got to explain anything necessarily, and we'll just kind of ask questions from there. But
okay,
just
sweet.
Go from the bottom.
So, starting at 11, we have The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Force Awakens, Solo, Attack of the Clones, Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, A New Hope, Phantom Menace, and Return of the Jedi.
Dang.
Return of the Jedi is your favorite.
100%.
You put Revenge of the Sith where?
5.
5? Okay, 5. Top 5, I guess, is okay.
It's still top 5, Jeremiah. He was like, whoa, hold up. Where's the revenge?
So,
Wait, what was Rogue One?
4.
Top 5.
all right. Now, so okay, your bottom 3 is there's the sequel trilogy. We get that a lot. Why is Solo so far down on your list? I thought like Solo and Episode 2 were really low down on your list. So,
because I've only seen it like twice.
For you should watch Solo again. It's
Yeah, I know y'all are fans. That's why I thought it was funny that it was so low. But yeah, it's not so much that I don't like Solo, it's that I like the other ones more.
That's fair.
I guess.
You can't rank it higher if you don't watch it as much.
Yeah.
I feel like if they didn't have that last scene in Solo, I probably would have had mine lower too.
Yeah.
But
right.
There's certain scenes in certain movies and shows that if it does it for me, then I'll like it.
Right.
And
that's my thing I hate most about Drew is an episode will be so terrible, but like if the last like minute something crazy and good and fun happens,
does it
the
for
best
me?
show
Then
ever,
it's
best
like,
episode
all right,
ever.
I'm in, I'm good.
And I hate that
like,
so much.
Like the Boba Fett with Cad Bane. When Cad Bane walked through, I'm like, oh, I'm done. This is awesome. But then it's like the whole episode was horrible. But then Cad Bane was there. And when Maul, we talk about it like once a month, I feel like at this point, but I still remember that Maul scene, and that was like the best thing ever.
All right. So then you had Return of the Jedi as your number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So why is that your number 1?
Again, I think it's just the classic full story. Like the ending of it is so good. There's Ewoks. And then again, it's just showing Luke as this amazing Jedi. And then Darth Vader's redemption is amazing. And it's just, everything is just so great. It's my favorite.
Cool. So that is your Imperial interview. Thank you, Ceaira. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have to get Ruby on next from you girls and finish the trio out, the trilogy of girls. And was there any other comments about Star Wars? Any other things you want to say? Any funny things? Any important things about Star Wars you want to say? And then we can move on.
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Cool. Well, that means it's time to transition over to everyone's favorite time of every episode, voicemail time.
It's voicemail time.
All right. Well, tonight we have a total of 7 voicemails. And the first 4, of course, are from Shadrick. And he said he wasn't going to send in tons of voicemails at one time. But I guess this is a lot less than he has been. So,
because then 1 week he did like 11 or 8 or something.
He had like 12 voicemails in 1 week. And I was like, this is way too much, Shadrick. You can't do this. But he sent 4 this week. And so let's take a listen to this first one. Because he's been, just a little context, he has been getting caught up on Star Wars shows and then sending in his responses. And so now he's been going through Skeleton Crew. And so here's some comments on Skeleton Crew for these voicemails. So let's take a listen.
Hey, it's Shadrick. Finished Skeleton Crew, and I liked it overall, surprisingly. I'm not gonna lie, like, obviously some parts were corny, but I guess that's what it's meant to be, the 80s corniness. But yeah, the show's way better than Acolyte, that's for sure. Never thought I'd be saying that. Skeleton Crew is better than Acolyte. Wow. I don't know, this show just felt like it had a lot of heart and soul in it. Like, I can't explain it. Like, I'd say the set design was probably some of the best sets I've seen in a while, and the characters, like the side whatever the background characters, I should say, all the aliens and robots you see. You see so many things in the show. I love it. It really feels like we're in a Star Wars universe. And I don't know how I feel about Atten. Well, it's a stupid name, and I don't like the look of the planet. It looks too much like Earth. I don't know. I get they're trying to go for 80s Goonies stuff, but I don't know. It looks a little too much like Earth. But it was pretty good overall, though. I'm gonna send in a part 2 for more thoughts.
All right. Thank you, Shadrick. And yes, it was a very enjoyable show. And of course, why are you surprised that it was better than Acolyte? That was the worst thing in all of Star Wars ever made. Terrible, terrible. But Skeleton Crew was a surprisingly fun and enjoyable show.
Yeah,
Ceaira, would you agree?
I would. I really enjoyed Skeleton Crew. I found
Yeah,
it
you have
very
a
entertaining.
poster.
Yeah, it's you can't see it, but I can hang on.
Well,
There it is.
There it is. But on yeah, so yeah, so thank you,
Yeah.
Shadrick, for your first voicemail, but we'll go on to number 2. Let's take a listen.
But overall, I almost liked all the main characters. Like the kids were pretty good. I mean, other than Wim, I didn't really like Wim. I mean, he was all right, I guess, but the rest did their jobs. And freaking Neil, man, I think that's his name, the Elephant Boy.
Oh, he's the
He's
best.
my favorite. That dude, that
Hands
little
down.
guy is so freaking
Go.
cute.
He's the
And they
goat.
just did it. They did as good as they can. The fact they didn't do CGI is freaking amazing.
True.
That alone, wow, amazing. And John, interesting character. I liked him a lot at first, and then he just ends up being a freaking jerk at the end. I don't know. And I thought it was kind of funny that he was kind of struggling with Wim's dad for the lever with the Force. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's like weak in the Force or something, but obviously, I don't think he's a Jedi. Clearly, I think like he said, was just found by a Jedi, and I guess they probably showed him a few things, maybe, before they died. But I am curious on what Jedi found him or whatever, and maybe mentored him. Hopefully, I'm calling it right now. We're going to get a Tales story with Jod. I don't know how, but it's going to be called Tales of the Pirates. I know it's kind of like Bounty Hunters, but we're going to get one with Jod and, what's his name? From Clone Wars. Oh my gosh.
Bro, come on.
He can't remember Hondo
Hondo!
Onaka's name.
Hondo, come on, dude.
I have been waiting for Hondo to come. I thought he was going to come in the Bad Batch. He didn't. I'm waiting for him in Mando.
True.
I
We
love
actually all
Hondo.
thought he would come.
I don't know if we're going to
He
get him
will
in
be
live
in Mando.
action.
It'd be so
I mean,
cool, though.
We already have him in live action at Disney, so
It's not.
Yeah,
the
but
same.
that's an animatronic.
no. But I'm just saying it wouldn't be that hard to like
exactly because
portray him in live action.
because
is what I'm
on
trying
the
to say.
screens at the ride, he's not an animatronic, right? I don't know. Maybe he's all
I don't know
CGI,
the
but
answer to that.
I don't know. I think it would just be hard to. One, is the voice actor even alive anymore?
yeah, Jim Cummings.
Because isn't he like 80 years old or something like that?
He's old, but he's still alive.
So it's like,
He probably said enough where they can splice and.
well, they
make him-
could, how like they do with Vader's voice, they used to use
Yeah.
AI to mimic it. But like, I don't know if we're ever going to get him in live action. Like, if we were going to get him in live action, it would have been in Skeleton Crew.
I was hoping for him in Skeleton Crew. I'm
True.
waiting for him to pop up in Mando.
I would not
He's
be
so cool.
surprised if we get him in the movie.
Because Galaxy's Edge takes place after the sequel trilogy. Right?
During.
Hmm?
During
Oh
the
yeah,
sequel
you're right.
trilogy.
During.
No, it's during
I
because
think it is during.
because what's his name? Well,
Well, 'cause
Mando's there,
Kylo
and
Ren
then
is there.
Kylo's there,
Well, I guess that makes sense.
and
but
they're
like,
looking for Rey.
but Mandoverse is post sequel. So how old is Red Buff in chat says in the Ryan Gosling movie Hondo's going to show up? Maybe. It'd be cool.
True.
But he's just such a lively like character. Like it would be hard to, have a voice actor. The voice actor, record separately from a very
But if he has like a fake face and stuff, I feel like it wouldn't be too different.
I don't know.
If a person played him very well, I would understand him not having the same exact voice. I mean, I'd love it if Jim Cummings did it because I love Hondo's classic voice. But if someone else did it and did a good voice and like just played him really well, I would be satisfied.
I don't know. It'd have to be really good because like you couldn't change Cad Bane's voice actor. You had to keep it the same guy. But I'm like, could someone else pull off Hondo Onaka's voice? Probably easier than Cad Bane's voice for a good voice actor to change. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, but they did that with Cad, and it worked.
But he also just stood there very still and
True,
like,
he wasn't jumping around.
he wasn't getting chased by pirates or getting chased down or trying to get away.
It would be one thing if it was
treasure.
if he was like a human, but because he's an alien, I feel like it would be easier to double.
But honestly, he could show up in Ahsoka season 2 because him and Ezra were BFFs. I'm saying Ezra, he could make a call to Hondo and Hondo would come in a heartbeat.
That cracked me up in
season
Rebels.
4 of Rebels, he's like, there's nothing I wouldn't do for that young boy or whatever it was. Like, he's a ride or die with Ezra, but I don't know.
I'd be down for that too.
We'll see.
I agree. I want to see him live action, and like, yeah, he's an animatronic, but it doesn't feel wrong. You know what I mean? So, like, we could get him.
All right, cool. All right, let's move on to number 3 from Shadrick.
Sorry, from the previous voicemail. I can't remember his name, but it's the freaking pirate from the Clone Wars that helps Obi-Wan Anakin sometimes. But I can definitely see us getting the Tales of something with Jod and maybe that character from the Clone Wars. I feel so fake for not remembering his name. I really liked his character. But anyways, I think this is after the sequels, like right after the sequels, I believe. So I hope we get more Jod in the future because I don't know how I felt about the ending. The ending was very cliffhanger, and I don't know. I don't think the show is mainly about, big flashy combat or anything, so I guess I don't know what I was expecting for the finale, but a little anticlimactic. But again, good Star Wars show with, I'm guessing, Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch Season 3, and then Andor Season 2 is their most recent. But live action wise, Skeleton Crew and Andor Season 2, wow. If they keep up this quality, I'll be more hyped for more Disney live actions in the future. So there's that. But I don't know. If I think of anything else I got on the show, I'll send it some other time. But I do got one more thing to say.
All right. Piece of advice, Shadrick. Between voicemails, Google the character you're looking up, bro, rather than just recording again.
Oh, in his defense, I forgot something earlier, and I can't even remember what I was trying to remember. So,
right, but he had Google right there in his hand when he recorded, and he could have just whatever. But yeah, so he asked about the timeline, and so there is no like official timeline of like where it fits in the Mandoverse, but a little like. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but if you go on Disney Plus and go on the chronological thing, Skeleton Crew is put after Ahsoka season 1, which is after like season 3 of Mando. So it's the furthest thing in the timeline, I guess. But,
allegedly, but yeah, it's.
But it's not like officially announced. It's just there. So. All right. So, he has one last voicemail, so let's take a listen.
Hey guys, okay, so Shadrick here. I was listening to y'all's small things you changed in Star Wars, and for the fun of it, I was like, sure. I thought of a big thing, just for whatever, just for the fun of it, and I just been thinking about it ever since Obi-Wan and Quinlan Voss resurrected Asajj Ventress in that one episode. But what if I don't know when the time period would be, but sometime after Order 66, whatever, whenever Asajj is alive, somehow Obi-Wan and Asajj get back together, and they finally just give in. They're a happy couple, whatever, quote unquote happy. But something happens, they gotta split up, whatever. They go their own ways, never see each other again. But what if in that small time period they were with each other, they have a love child, and that love child grows up to be Supreme Leader Snoke.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Disney, hire me. No, I am just kidding. That'd be a horrible idea, but just imagine. Could you imagine Asajj Ventress having a little baby Snoke? I mean, they kind of they could be related. I don't
Dang,
know.
chill.
But that's if we didn't get the clone plot line, whatever. But I just thought it was a funny thought. But let me guys know what you think about that.
That is a crazy.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Crazy. Now, before his real identity came out, everyone had their theories after episode 7 of like who Snoke was.
The chat. I don't want that image.
But it would have been a crazy. Everyone had their theories. I had my theories, and everyone.
What was
else had their
yours? Do you remember?
The best one that I heard was that Snoke was Sifo Dyas. I thought that one really cool because in episode 7, Hux is like talking to Snoke and talking about, do we want to bring back clones? Well, Sifo Dyas was into the clone thing. Like he's helped commission, like he was in kind of working with Dooku with that. And he had like the same like scars on his face that we see of Sifo Dyas in like hologram or vision that Yoda had. And I was like, that'd be really cool if it was Sifo Dyas.
But then everyone thought it was like Vader.
Vader, or it was like everyone thought it was everybody. But Ceaira, did you have a theory on who he was before?
I didn't, because I wasn't part of like the Star Wars community, so it was just me just doing my own. And no, I wasn't a huge theory maker, because at this point, The Force Awakens came out right before we started watching any Star Wars.
Right.
So I wasn't into like, I didn't know how the Star Wars community worked. I didn't know theories were made. So I remember talking about it and being like, oh, who's Rey? Who's her parents? But yeah, as far as Snoke, I don't think I really thought about it. I think I was just like, oh, big character. Literally, big character.
So when you watched the sequel trilogy, did you like watch it all on like at one time?
It was only The Force Awakens that had come out. And then, so we watched that, and then we watched the next 2 in theaters. And at the time, I loved them.
At the time.
All right, cool. All right, well, thank you, Shadrick, for your 4 voicemails. We'd love to hear from you again. But next up, we have 3 voicemails from 3 different individuals. Next up, we have one from Nasty Nate. So let's take a listen.
What up, Empire Radio? It's Nasty Nate. Spent the last couple of weeks getting my house in order for my kid's birthday party, so I was a little behind, but I just listened to your top 5 minor changes episode, and you guys really brought it. It's pretty much exactly what I was thinking about when I came up with the idea, so props to you guys. Speaking of minor things that happen in Star Wars, I have this text thread with my Star Wars buddies, and the Andor conversation just never stops because of how good that show is, right? So my brother brought up the fact that there are so many things that happen in that show that if they don't happen, then Luke never becomes the ultimate hero, right? Check this out. Cyril Karn was accidentally a hero to the rebellion. During the Gorman massacre, Cassian has Dedra in his sights, right? And right before he pulls the trigger, Cyril tackles him. So let's say that doesn't happen, and Cassian assassinates Dedra. Theoretically, her chain code, her credentials, all that stuff get taken offline, and Lonnie never gets to steal them and find out about the Death Star, and he never gives that information to Luthen, who doesn't give that information to the rebellion, and they never find out about the Death Star. Pretty crazy, right? May the Force be with you.
Wow.
We talked about that, Drew.
I don't
Kind of.
remember that though. Not like that.
Well, yeah, because every little thing that came out,
In
like
my
if
defense,
it didn't
I
happen,
was just so happy that he died, so I kind of forgot all. Like, I understand that everything
Spoilers.
happened for a reason, but like explaining it, like, oh, wow.
but every little thing you could say of like,
Yes, Jeremy,
you know, like
I understand, but it just hit different for some reason in that moment.
Like if Luke was still at home when the stormtrooper showed up, he would have gotten burned too. Like, and then nothing would have happened. So it's like every little thing that happens in Star Wars, one little change changes everything. So
I just wish Luke would have cared that his parents, real parents, died, and he didn't even cry.
I guess he didn't like him. So he was happy to leave Tatooine.
That's dark.
And then he met his
You don't
real
feel the
dad,
same
and
way
he
that
was-
it's kind of weird that he wasn't sad when his step parents were dead?
I never thought about it.
How?
I don't know.
Because they were like his only parents that he knew.
Yeah.
Charred skeletons on the ground. And
He was like,
all right, cool.
"Nah."
I'm out of here.
And then when he met his real dad, he like,
It's not true. That's impossible.
it was like, if we had just a little bit when his parents died, that would have been actually more like, he was just so mad that he was not able to go
And then
get
Leia
those
wasn't sad.
motivators.
When her planet was blown up a day later, she's just like, happy grin, let's put a medal on these guys, and life is perfect. I'm not sad at all. And then life moves on. I'm like, come on. That's not how reality works. But
True.
So what you guys are asking for is a mini series of people just crying.
yeah.
It's called The Lost Stars, and you should read that book.
Is it?
That is
a solid
Drew's
book.
favorite
It's my
Star Wars book of all time. We just read it for our Valentine's Day special. And it is a good read because it follows two
really good
characters during the events of like the original trilogy.
You'll
And
like it. If you like the original trilogy, you'll love
You
it.
get a lot of background information from both sides. So Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. Definitely a recommended book.
Sweet.
I've read it 11 times. No, 12 times now.
That's great. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that's true. I never thought about it.
Yeah.
Well,
About Luke not being Luke not being that sad, and then Leia.
Leia was sad in the moment for a little bit. She was frustrated. But like, to really think like, if you are outside of the Earth and someone blew up Earth and you watched Earth blow up, like, that's so intense because it's like everything you've done in your life is just like, all right, it's gone. It doesn't matter anymore. Like, just really think about that. That would, it's a lot. It's heavy.
That's intense.
It's heavy.
and it's just like, Luke was just a whiny little moisture farmer.
She's like,
and then 2 days later, he becomes a general in the rebellion after so many people sacrificed so many things and they never worked their way up. Like, but he's just given a medal and everyone's mad. I would have been mad, and I was in the throne room scene. I was like, what did they do? They just got here. I've been here for years. But whatever.
Well, because the real heroes already died.
Yep.
The real Death Star heroes.
Yep.
So,
all right. Well, thank you, Nasty Nate. And we're glad that your idea for a top 5 was to your satisfaction. So if anyone else wants us to do a top 5 something, send in voicemails and we'll take a listen, and we'll consider doing a top 5 because everyone loves our top 5 episodes. So send them in. We'll get it done. All right. Next up, Drew, we got a special one. Someone we haven't heard from in a very long time. Everyone's favorite Northern Irishman.
ooh,
Jakob with a K.
Jakob.
So let's take a listen to his voicemail.
Hello, it's me, Jakob, and I am sending a voicemail, even though I haven't been on for like a while. I had to take a bit of a break for studying for school because I had like tests and everything, and I was just a bit busy. But I really don't know what's going on with the podcast right now. And I wanted to ask you a question. In your opinion, do you play any of the Star Wars Battlefronts again due to Star Wars Battlefront 3 being talked about? And if you do, please tell me, because I haven't played them in forever, but I realised that since Star Wars Battlefront 3 might come out, I'll start playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 Remastered again.
All right, thank you, Jakob. It's good to hear from you.
Why
Good to hear that
were
you
you
were
not supposed to be sitting in this voice? Well, you're
I don't know,
like
you were
whispering,
whispering
my
it was
guy.
like in secret, like
Yeah,
whatever.
was
Maybe
like,
he was supposed to be studying
like,
again, and he was taking a
under
little break.
your stairs or something.
But we're happy that you're taking your studies seriously and getting
Yes.
getting your work
Focus
done.
on that.
So hopefully you're
be on the
getting
back burner for
grades.
a little bit.
But Battlefront 2. So
we talked about it
recently because I think
A couple
Shadrick
weeks
sent
ago.
in something. But yeah, I think a few days ago, like all-time record for most players at one time was like 33,000 people were playing. That was like the peak it's been, and the game came out 8 years ago. And so I haven't had to play it because I don't have the game anymore. But
I think I saw it yesterday.
It was on sale like for like $4 or something.
Yeah,
because they're just trying to get people to play it. So, but if game number 3 comes out or a new Battlefront comes out, I'll probably get it because I'll be super excited.
Yeah,
Ceaira,
it's
do you
literally
play
on sale for
video
$4
games
right
at all?
now.
No, I don't. But Bella recently got an Xbox, and she started playing Fallen Order, and so I've been watching her, and I've watched Ruby play it actually, but I haven't sat through the whole thing, and I know basically the story, but I actually don't know the whole story, so that's been fun. But yeah, I've definitely heard of Battlefront, but no, I haven't played any.
Yeah, it's on sale for $4. So if you're listening and you've been thinking about it, $4 is not. It's like half a cup of coffee these days. So,
but yeah, Jakob, we're probably not gonna play it anytime soon, just because we don't have the games and we're old and we don't have time.
I have it, but I don't have anyone to play with.
You don't have to play with someone. You can just jump in.
I do.
What you gotta do is you go in by yourself and grind and build up all your stats and players and unlock all the weapons and stuff.
You lost me at the word grind. I'm already out. Checked out.
Well,
I've been playing Pokemon Red right now, and that's the only grind I've been focused on. So I just got a Gyarados, and I'm super happy about that. So
Ceaira is very happy for you too. All right. Well, thank you, Jakob. We hope to hear from you again in the near future because we love to hear your accent. It's awesome. Yeah. But my parents were
just in Dublin.
Huh?
My parents were in Dublin like a couple weeks ago. So
cool. Well, they should have sent in a voicemail from
the streets of Dublin.
Yeah. They could have tried doing their own Irish accent.
Oh, I do not want to hear that, bro. No thanks.
All right, well, that brings us to our final voicemail tonight from our good friend Yaretsi. So let's take a listen.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Yaretsi. You know all those Star Wars books I said I read last week in that voicemail? Well, do I have a story to tell you guys? So in all those Star Wars books, there's always a man who's described as a dark-haired man. And every time, it's Wedge Antilles. And the other day, I tried to read a regular book, a non-Star Wars book, because I used to do that before I got into Star Wars. So,
Weird.
And there was a description for a dark-haired man, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's Wedge Antilles! And then I realized Wedge Antilles is not showing up. And I had to put the book down and contemplate my life for a second.
Fair.
And also, I do have something to say to Drew. Funko is about to release Tales of the Underworld Funko Pops. And included in there is Thrawn. I already pre-ordered mine off of Box Lunch. So I was just gonna give you a heads up, but you probably already know. Anyway, bye.
Well,
All right. Thank you, Yaretsi. Drew, did you know about the pops?
no, but I haven't bought a pop in a hot
Yeah.
minute. I haven't bought any Star Wars anything in a hot minute. And
Yep.
I was just in Florida at Disney Springs, and I went to the store, and I was like, oh, the only thing I was thinking about getting, they didn't have my size in, but it was a Boba Fett baseball jersey, and it was sick.
That
'Cause
sounds sick.
It was pretty dope. It was like
Yep.
green.
And
but
how
then
much was that?
It was like $70, which
Oh, that's it.
it wasn't that bad, but they had like a triple X only. I was like, yeah, no,
Triple
thanks.
X. Holy
I know. Well, that's why, because it was so popular. They only had like big
I hate
sizes.
because I get like this t-shirts, like plain t-shirts from like Target because they're super cheap, and they never have my size. I like a large. Like
Yeah,
there's
because
always sold out unless it's like hot pink or something. I'm like, I'm not wearing a hot pink large.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm in the same boat. They don't have a large like anything anymore.
but whatever.
Whatever.
And
GG.
Yaretsi, super funny that you just like default moded to Wedge Antilles based on a description of black hair. Because I think that is true. Like multiple books has like,
They talk about Wedge a lot, actually.
yeah, he always pops up. He's for some reason he's in everything. So
Did Yaretsi read Lost Stars?
I believe so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good.
Maybe I can't remember. Go listen to the voicemails from last week when she.
True.
And she posted in a Discord a picture of like her Star Wars shelf of like and had all her
She's
books
in
on
the
it.
chat right now, so she could tell me in a second. But
Yeah. All right, but that is all the voicemails tonight. So thank you, Shadrick, Nasty Nate, Jakob, and Yaretsi. And so if anyone else wants to send in a voicemail, please do. We'd love to hear from you. We always love hearing new people, love hearing accents. So if you want to send in a voicemail, go in the description below. There is a link for everything Empire Radio, links.co/Empire Radio, links spelled with 2 I's. Click that, and that brings you to everything Empire Radio. And one of those links is a voicemail link. And so click that. You don't even have to sign up. You just click it, turn your microphone on your phone or on your computer or whatever, and then just push record, stop record, and send. You don't even have to sign up. So super easy, super fun. We love to hear from you. But also, you can get connected to us on Instagram, Facebook, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitch for live streams, join the Discord, hang out with a bunch of Star Wars nerds, and talk about Star Wars. It's a lot of fun. And there is also a link for our fan email if you ever need to email us about anything. Ceaira, do you want to plug
plug away
your podcast and how people can connect it to you guys?
Yeah, for sure. You can find our podcast, Star Wars Old Republic Radio, a Star Wars podcast, on basically anywhere you listen to podcasts. And then we're also on Instagram. You can find us at Star Wars _old_Republic_radio. And we got a lot of fun stuff there. Longest handle ever. But we'll be releasing episodes. We'll be doing the Clone Wars soon, so that'll be a lot of fun.
And you're starting a YouTube channel.
Yes, YouTube channel is up. Can't remember it. That's a problem.
It's probably on your link on Instagram and your bio.
Probably. Yeah, I'll find it there.
We'll link it down below on our YouTube.
For sure.
We'll just link it down below on our YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, and like we said earlier, they interviewed Star Wars Theory, and so he'll be on there. So go check that out. Go support our. We used to call them our little sister podcast,
but now we're the little brother.
Now they're famous now, so now we're the little brother podcast to them.
Equal siblings podcast.
Oh, equal
siblings.
We're not equal.
We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we're super excited for you guys and what you guys got coming out, and we wish the best for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, you as well.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? You want to talk about? Anything? Any more comments? Final thoughts?
No.
Yeah,
all right, cool.
We'll have to have y'all on ours soon.
Yep.
Yes. Just
yep. I'm more free than Drew, but
true. This is very much true.
We would definitely love to continue this
we'll figure it out.
Collabing between the two of us. So, yeah. But until then, you've been listening to another interview-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And I'm Ceaira.
And may the Force be be with you.
Always.
Yup, nope.